this QuickBooks video today, we want to talk a little bit about the class feature in QuickBooks. So the class feature can be useful for-profit businesses, for nonprofit organizations as well. I find it a little more critical to the nonprofit operations, so that's kind of the example that I'm going to use today in the example that we're going to look at here. So the reason that's critical for nonprofits is they often have different funds, different activities, maybe a grant, and they have to track income and expense just for that one related activity. And it's hard to do that. Let me pull this over. I'm going to use a real simple example here, and you'll get the idea. I see this from time to time, where someone is trying to track different activities, and they're using the chart of accounts to do that. So for instance, our income accounts, we have donations for this particular nonprofit, and we have general donations just to the nonprofit itself. But we also have a special activity. We have a homeless kitchen, okay? And we want to know what is the income and the expense specific to that homeless kitchen. Well, so they've named an account, donations homeless kitchen. We got $3,000 there. And how about expense? I only put in 2 lines of expense. Theoretically, there would be many more. But we have food purchases. We obviously have food purchases for the kitchen, so you see that noted there. Well, we could have other food purchases as well that are not for the kitchen. We have a big general meeting or something like that. We have refreshments or whatever other activities there might be. Well, you're going to see how awkward this is. I mean, if I want to track, if I want some kind of a report for the board that's going to tell them, how's the homeless kitchen doing? Well, I'm going to look down the whole profit and loss report, and I'm going to pick out some of these lines. Well, we got income of $3,000, and yeah, we've got food purchases of $1,850. I have to be writing this, on a sheet of paper or putting it on an Excel spreadsheet or so. Well, you don't want to go to that much. That's way too time consuming, way too tedious. QuickBooks has a much better way of dealing with that. So I'm going to go to Edit, Preferences, the Accounting section here, and Company Preferences, and I'm going to make sure that I turn on classes. This may be turned off in your QuickBooks file. So check that checkbox. Prompt to assign classes. I mean, if I forget a class on a transaction, QuickBooks will give me a little reminder message when I go to save. So that's a good thing. I don't know why you wouldn't want that. And then I'll click OK. So class is turned on. Now I can go to lists, and I have a class list. If I click on that, in the sample data, the sample file that QuickBooks provides, they have a couple of classes, although in the data they're not really used. I don't think they're used at all. So what might we do for our nonprofit? Well, I'm going to go down here. I'm going to click on class. I'm going to say new, and I just have to give it a name. So let's specify that homeless kitchen. Okay. And let's do one more. So let's just call the other one general. So a little tip here when I'm working with someone and helping them set up classes, I tell them if you're going to use the class feature, then create a class for everything. So you could create a class called general, you could create a class called administrative, whatever. The goal of this is to end up with a profit and loss that has these different columns for the different activities. And there's going to be a column that's unclassified, and those are transactions where no class was entered on there. Well, if on purpose you don't put a class on certain things, and that's your plan, that's your organization, then when you get to the end, you're going to look at that column and you're going to say, okay, are these totals on these accounts, are they in the unclassified column because they're supposed to be, or did someone make a mistake? You're really not going to know. So if everything goes in a class, Then when you look at that profit and loss by class report, you look at that unclassified column, you know those are errors. And you can easily go through and add the class on those transactions until that report is clean and you no longer have the unclassified column. All right, that gives me, these are the two classes I'm going to work with, general and homeless kitchen. Okay, so here's the change that QuickBooks makes when I turn the class field on. If I go to write checks, let me shrink this down a little bit, make it a little easier for you to see. Down here in this stub portion of the check here, we now have a column for class. You can see that right there. It's kind of light because there's nothing in it, but we could put like our general class in there. Now, you're going to see this on all the other transactions that will affect your profit and loss report as well. So bills, if you use bills, there'll be a class column. Deposit windows, there'll be a class column. Invoices, sales receipts, all those things now have a class column just like you see right here. So let's take a quick look at this. Let's create a deposit. All right. So doesn't matter who we received it from. This is just a summary deposit. I have an income account called donations, but I only have one account that's called donations. I'm going to record $3,000. I received $3,000 in donations. There's the class column, so I don't want to forget that. So where is that? What activity is that assigned to? Well, let's assign that to general. Okay, same, and this could be a separate deposit. I'll just use a second line, the same deposit. I have more money. In this case, it's for the, see if I can make that a little bigger for you. It's for the homeless kitchen. I'm trying to stretch that out so you can see it a little better. You get the idea. That's what it is, homeless kitchen. There we go. Okay, so we've got money from the homeless kitchen as well. Let's say we got $1,500 for that. One income account, but I have two different classes. Okay, what about expenses? Well, so actually, sorry. There we go. Checks, that's what I want. Let's, I don't really need a payee. I'm going to leave that off. Sorry, $1,850 to my food supplier. There we go, food purchases, and this is for the homeless shelter or the homeless kitchen. And there we go. Let's do another one. We need some refreshments or something like that for a meeting for the nonprofit at large. So that's also going to be food purchases, $500. But in this case, it's not for the homeless kitchen. It's just general. All right. So I'm going to save that. So what does that do for me now? How does that help me? Well, if I go to reports, company and financial, profit and loss by class, here are, where'd my two? Here are our two right here. So you can see in the general class, we have donations of $3,000. We purchased a bunch of food for a meeting that we were going to have. So there's our $500 expense. So we're left with, we're $2,500 to the good. All right, how about the kitchen? How is the homeless kitchen doing? Well, we got donations for the homeless kitchen for $1,500 last month. And we spent on food $1,850. So if we go all the way down to the bottom line, we spent $350 more than we took in. Now, that that may be just 1 month and we may make it up next month. I don't know, but you get the general idea. That's what class does for us. And there's probably going to be more lines than just the two. I'm just making a simple example here for you. So here's that column that I was telling you about, unclassified. So if I was actually using this in a real file, then I wouldn't have these items that are coming over from the sample data. But when I run into something that's unclassified like this, I can double click on it, and that's a deposit. It's construction. So I can change, I could add the class right here. And in this case, I don't want to use our homeless kitchen or general. So I'll just put it in remodel. Save and close. Close that, and it's gone. So we don't have that item in unclassified. And so that's why I say everything in a class, it's really easy to clean up that unclassified column. So I think that's going to help you. If you have those different activities, like say grants, funds, some kind of restriction of what you can spend certain money on, I think the class is going to give you that without creating this long, lengthy chart of accounts and then trying to pick out which accounts on the profit and loss pertain to the particular report that you're trying to create. Just do this. And just as one further note, you can customize a report like this by class and only look at one class. So if you just wanted a report for the homeless kitchen and that's it, you can get that. So it's very flexible. It's a great feature in QuickBooks, like I say, especially used a lot by nonprofits. So if you have questions, you can leave those in the comments below. I try to get to those when I can. I hope that was helpful, and thanks for watching.